What's up, y'all? It's WristFlex and welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2023. As usual, I'm going to wait for the chat to kick in before I begin this video, and if you're watching after the stream uploads, you can check back in around 20 minutes where I crop out the discussion that I have with the comment section. It'll probably be maybe more like an hour because today, friends, we are remote. We are at Arnold's Way in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. And I'm so excited to do this. It's been a long time. I used to come here back in like 2015, and I'm back. This place has inspired me in so many ways, mainly because when you come here, you find people that have healed ailments you never even thought were possible. You go to the doctors in the Western medical establishment and they tell you they have to cut out your organs in order to heal you, and there's no other way. There's no other way. But what's exciting is all we have is our personal experience here. We may not be doctors, but what we have is our trial and error, what has worked, and we want to bring it to you. So we have a very special guest here on the show with us today. What is your name?
Timothy Lewis.
Timothy Lewis. Thank you so much for being with us.
My
Timothy,
pleasure.
We want to hear your success story. So let's give a little bit of a background about what this place is, right? Where are we right now? What is Arnold's Way?
Arnold's Way is a raw food cafe and health food store. That is, and Arnold is a special person who has helped many people take personal responsibility for their health, and so that's where we are.
Yeah, and so when you get into the Arnold's Way community, they have potlucks here. It's surrounded by people that are, searching to maybe heal something, and it's not just food that helps. It's an entire lifestyle, right? Learning to love yourself, meditation, getting on a regular lifestyle, going to sleep at the same time every night, exercise. What else do we do here? We do bananas,
sunshine,
fresh
air,
using healthy products with no chemicals in them.
Yeah. Healthy relationships,
yes. Reducing stress.
Physical activity.
Yeah, and so you can see on the wall behind me, there's pictures of all of these people, and I want to get into Tim's story, but you can see people on these walls that have healed brain cancer, okay, various types of cancers, autoimmune disorders, the craziest things you never thought imaginable with these tips that we are saying here, right? Diet, loving yourself,
sleep, fresh air.
Yeah. So just give us a background about what got you coming to Arnold's Way and changing your lifestyle.
Well, first of all, I was single at the time, and there was a lot of nice young ladies hanging out, or I was hoping there would be some nice young ladies hanging out at Arnold's. And I met my wife there on March 4th, 1996. So that's just the start of the many blessings that I have experienced at Arnold's Way.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
And then going on from there, it so happened, should I get into my health story a little bit?
Yeah.
Within a couple of years, I encountered, I started having black and blue marks on my body and little red dots, and eventually they were covering most of my body, so I went to a doctor, and my doctor said, Dr. Urbanski, and he gave me a referral to a hematologist. When I came out of Dr. Urbanski's office, a bird pooped on me. So I thought that was probably not a good sign.
It's an omen.
I went to the hematologist, and then for the sake of brevity, I went to another hematologist. They both gave me the same diagnosis. Of course, I had blood tests, and my platelet count, which a normal range is between 150 and 400,000 whatever those units are exactly, I don't know. And my platelets were below 15,000. So I was bleeding, sort of
Wow.
spontaneously.
So you were bleeding spontaneously, and you had bruises all over.
And that's the result of blood leaking around.
Wow.
So they identified the disorder as ITP, immunothrombocytopenic purpura, which may sound complicated. It's not that rare, and it's a thrombosis, immunothrombocytopenic purpura. And
What did they say to do to heal from it?
Well, that's the thing. My kids were only, my daughter was about 1.5 years old, and my son was about 5 years old. And the first suggestion was treatments with steroids, not suggesting that I would necessarily get off of them, but hoping that they would increase my platelet count to where I could have surgery or have a tooth pulled or not worry about bumping my head or having a car accident such that I could die from not being able to stop the bleeding.
I'm just going to get you more into the shot. There we go.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I like being in the shot.
Yeah.
My kids were young, and I thought, well, that could be complicated, being on steroids. And if the steroids, they didn't know if they would help, and they hoped they would help.
That's what they always do, right?
Right.
Steroids is one of those blanket options.
Right, they shock your system,
Yeah.
but not that I understand the steroid completely. If that didn't work, we would try some sort of intravenous intervention or possibly spleen removal.
Removing one of your organs
Removing one of my organs.
because of a health ailment.
So I held on tight to my spleen and gave some further consideration to really the fact that my children were so young, and that I didn't know I was worried about having further complications, maybe thyroid problems from medicating, and just so I was a little afraid of that. Beings that I was hanging out or frequenting Arnold's Way, I consulted Arnold about it, and Arnold gave me some ideas, but also referred me to a lady who assists with a natural hygiene program and fasting and so forth. Now, Arnold's Way is about raw food, but the thought behind that, it's a little more comprehensive. Raw food, fresh air, sunshine, laughter, exercise, rebounding, yoga, a total health rejuvenation.
Tell us about the diet change that you did
Okay, well, I transitioned.
and what you were eating first before you
Well, I was
transitioned.
probably eating too much cheese, drinking too much milk, eating too much wheat bread.
Okay, so like the standard American diet.
A lot of gluten and dairy. Not standard really takes it to a bad place. I was not a McDonald's, but
You didn't do McDonald's.
Well, I thought my lean corned beef and a tuna hoagie with
Okay,
with,
so yeah, you thought you were
with-
doing healthy.
with Swiss cheese was a good way to go.
You thought your diet was pretty standard and healthy. And
I thought it was a cut above most, and I think most people tend to think so.
yeah.
Then it was recommended to me to
By Arnold.
to transform or transfer or to
Change your diet.
change my diet to a transition would be the word, another trans type of thing. That's very popular today.
Oh, boy. And now you eat.
I went on a specific program. Should I get into the details
Yeah.
of the program? So
You did bananas? Did you do bananas?
I didn't do bananas. I transitioned to a raw food diet. Okay.
Which means not meat.
That's
This is plants.
a raw food vegan diet.
Vegan diet.
And